Hi, I'm Muhammed Hamdan and you're tuning into Nightline, the top stories. Senior Bersatu leader who is also an MP, company CEO, expected to be charged with graft on Tuesday. And Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul confirms summoned by MACC. Good morning. A senior leader from Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia Bersatu, who is also a member of parliament, is expected to be charged on Tuesday in connection with the Jana Wibawa program. According to a source, also to be charged is a businessman who is also the chief executive officer of a company. The duo are expected to be charged at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court at 9 a.m. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has initiated an investigation over the Jana Wibawa program over allegations that the chosen contractors then allegedly deposited 300 million ringgit into the Bersatu Party account. The MACC previously froze the bank accounts of Bersatu over an investigation into alleged corruption from the time that the party's president, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, was the Prime Minister. Earlier, Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdulaziz has confirmed that he has been called by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission for a probe. The International Trade and Industry Minister, however, refused to elaborate whether he was being called in pertaining to the 5.7 billion ringgit Jana Wibawa program.
Saya boleh komen ialah betul. Saya nak mengesahkan bahawa SPRM telah pun memanggil saya dan saya akan memberi kerjasama sepenuhnya apabila saya untuk membantu SPRM dalam kesihatan.
Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul spoke to reporters after meaty Chinese New Year celebration at the ministry's headquarters on Monday. On Sunday, MACC Chief Tan Sri Azam Baki has confirmed that Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul will be called to help with the investigation of Jana Wibawa project. Tan Sri Azam also confirmed that MACC has recorded former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's statement over the same investigation. The Jana Wibawa program was introduced by the previous government under Tan Sri Muhyiddin to expedite project execution to spur the nation's economic recovery post-COVID-19 pandemic. However, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Hamidi on February 15th announced that the government will postpone the projects to review whether they were awarded in accordance with the procurement process and governance requirements set by the Treasury. The Home Ministry has urged organisers to be mindful when organising any activities which can create chaos and uneasiness amongst the people in the country. Its Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said this follows the militia-style cosplay at the Himpunan Pemuda Islam Terengganu or HIMPIT in Setiu, Terengganu last Friday. In a statement on Monday, Datuk Sri Saifuddin said that the political climate had yet to calm down since the 15th general election, GE15, hence all parties needed to be sensitive and responsible not to make the situation worse. He also stated that any act of display to express passion with the use of weapon-like symbols or military is inappropriate and can cause public distress. He stressed that stern action would be taken against any party if actions were deemed to threaten the peace, harmony and security of the people. The minister added that although Malaysia was a democratic country, people should be wary of existing sensitivities and any opinion or views must be carefully managed and channeled through the existing democratic space and not provocatively. Video clips and pictures of past youth members dressed as Islamic warriors with replica swords and marched during an event went viral recently. Police were said to be investigating the incident. In other news, Terengganu Pakatan Harapan Chairman Datuk Raja Kamarul Bahrin Shah Raja Ahmad urged the authorities to conduct an investigation and take appropriate action against a group who participated in a parade carrying fake weapons and wearing war attire. He said this is because the actions of the group may trigger fear among the public. As such, the party lodged a police report at the Kuala Terengganu District Police Headquarters on Monday afternoon. Meanwhile, Terengganu Police Chief Dr. Rohaimi Ahmad Isa, when contacted, said authorities had received 3 police reports regarding the incident. 12 individuals, including the organizer, have been summoned to assist in the investigation. On Sunday, Terengganu Police said preliminary investigations revealed that the parade took place on February 17th after a gathering at a resort in Setiu. Authorities said the parade was one of the events contested, which was designing clothes, weapons and the Islamic heritage. Moving on, the Women, Family and Community Development Ministry will continue to push for the formation of a department to look after the interests of children. Its Minister, Dr. Sri Nancy Shukri, said the proposal will be forwarded once again at the next Cabinet meeting on Friday before the tabling of Budget 2023.
Bukan secara rasmi dekat kabinet hari itu, secara prinsip. Tapi saya mohon lagi sebelum hari bajet ni lah, hari bajet pagi itu kita akan kemukakan lagi paper kita ke kabinet dengan mohon izin daripada Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri dan juga pihak keuangan.
Dr. Sri Nancy said the ministry had previously forwarded the proposal to the cabinet, but it was eventually rejected as it involved a huge expenditure despite being initially accepted on principle. Describing it as a holistic proposal, Dr. Sri Nancy said it will be a starting point towards the formation of a new department. She was speaking to reporters after a working visit to the Bukit Aman CID Sexual Women and Child Investigations Division D11 Child Interview Centre on Monday. On the working visit, Dr. Sri Nancy said the police, especially the D11, needs the latest equipment and more personnel to curb crimes under its purview. This includes the need for the latest computer hardware and software to investigate cases such as pornography. She added that the meeting also discussed strategic cooperation between the ministry and the police, especially on crimes and issues involving women and children. Now, the skyrocketing cost of construction materials is said to be among the factors that contributed to some 3% of projects by the Public Works Department to be classified as SICK projects due to delays and failing to be completed according to the set schedule. Works Minister Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalinggi said 25 out of over 800 projects that were on basic infrastructure development or road works were categorized as SICK projects. Dr. Sri Nanta said there are various reasons why the projects have been classified SICK, which includes contractors with weak finances, causing them to be unable to cover the costs of rising prices of building materials and other operating costs. However, he said the ministry would try to find a way to ensure that projects that were being implemented could be completed.
Kita sentiasa mencari jalan bagaimana nak menyiapkan projek selain daripada menyuntikkan kewangan yang berlebihan itu kita tak nak buatlah kalau boleh kerana itu tidak adil, kerana kalau harga projek itu kontrak itu terlalu banyak bergantung kepada suntikan kewangan baru, jadi terjejaslah kewangan kita.
He said another reason that led to SICK projects was the lack of foreign workers. However, he said recent improvements made in the hiring system have created a more systematic and smoother procedure for acquiring foreign workers. He said this to reporters after attending a town hall session with contractors in the G1 to G3 categories at the Tan Sri Mahfuz Khalid Hall at the Ministry of Works complex on Monday. The town hall session was the first session by Dr. Sri Nanta, which acted as a platform for contractors to express their views and raise ongoing issues. The country's first littoral combat ship, LCS, which is scheduled for completion next year, will have to undergo operational testing for up to 24 months before commissioning. Defence Minister Dr. Sri Muhammad Hassan said the operational testing involved 2 assessments, namely harbour and sea trials. During the question and answer at the Dewan Rakyat on Monday, Dr. Sri Muhammad said the harbour trial was conducted to test the ship's buoyancy and manoeuvrability. On the LCS project progress, Dr. Sri Muhammad said the installation of defence gear, weapons and electronics was currently taking place on the ship. Meanwhile, responding to Lumut MP Nordin Ahmad Ismail's question about the actions taken to resolve the LCS project issue, Datuk Seri Muhammed said the Defence Ministry is currently in its final phase of the proposal to continue the LCS project through the preparation of the Cabinet Memorandum. He said the memorandum is expected to be tabled soon.
Kementerian Pertahanan sedang memberikan penelitian khusus demi untuk memastikan projek LCS ini dapat diteruskan bagi memperkasakan sistem pertahanan dan perairan negara kita.
Ubah keutamaan demi kemampanan ekonomi.
Makmur bersama Malaysia Madani, iltizam kerajaan perpaduan untuk rakyat.
Cerakin dampak belanjawan 2023 bersama kami dan penganalisis.
Jumaat 24 Februari
Bermula jam 3 petang
hanya di TV3.
The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa bin Shah visited the Kampung Tekek Jetty in Tioman Island on Monday to observe the upgrading work being conducted at the jetty, which serves as one of the entry points to the resort island. His Majesty was accompanied by his son, Tengku Arif Bendahara Tengku Muhammad Iskandar Riayatuddin Shah. Also in attendance was the lineup of the state government's administration, led by Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail. During the visit, His Majesty was briefed on the upgrading work of the jetty by State Public Works Director Datuk Hafizah Zakaria. After visiting the jetty, His Majesty then went to Kampung Salang, also on Tioman Island, to attend a Jamuan Rakyat. The visit is part of the itinerary for His Majesty's 2-day visit to the resort island. Former Finance Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani has underlined the importance of political stability, competence and trust in helping the country fix its struggling economy. He said the country must brace for some short-term pain for the sake of future generations. Aside from the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia's economy was also affected by the political turmoil that saw a 3-time change of government leading up to the last general election. Speaking to the Free Malaysia Today portal, FMT, the Titi Wangsa Member of Parliament said all parties must do their part to ensure political stability. Datuk Seri Johari said political stability was key to ensuring that necessary but unpopular policies would not be abolished whenever there was a change of government.
Kita mesti ada kestabilan politik. Kenapa kestabilan politik? Kerana kestabilan politik ini boleh memastikan kita boleh buat polisi yang tidak popular dengan rakyat dan menyebabkan kerajaan tak bertukar. Dan hasil ni kita akan nampak dalam masa jangka masa panjang. That means kita call it short term pain, long term gain.
Datuk Seri Johari said political stability must also be accompanied by competent leaders and civil servants who are able to implement urgent policies in order to achieve the targeted goals, as an example, curbing the abuse and leakage of public funds.
Kita mesti ada tim yang pasukan yang mempunyai experience dan kompeten untuk melihat apa benda, which part that we need to go and realign back our economy to make sure that it will benefit long term. I mean, will benefit the future generation. But to do that, very painful we have to do now. For example, nak buat targeted subsidies. That is one of the example. It's not easy to do, but we have to do it. All right? For what? For the future generation.
Datuk Seri Johari said strategies to help Malaysia overcome challenges facing the economy may include certain approaches that may be considered unpopular. As such, he said it is crucial to gain the people's trust and confidence in the government in order to ensure that such an approach is truly understood and supported by the people.
Because it's important to have that trust. Kalau tidak, macam mana nak buat ni short term pain, long term gain ni? Because it's just like when you go and see doctor. You sakit, you pergi jumpa doctor, and doctor prescribe you all the pill. You take and you pay, you bring back, and then dia suruh makan 3 kali sehari. You makan for next 7 days. You makan. You never question about the ubat. Because you trust the doctor. Right? But same thing that in economy. If you trust, if the government have the credibility and integrity, and experience and also competent leaders, and at the same time having political stability, you can execute this. And people want to trust you.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Johari issued a warning about the need for Malaysia to prepare for the possibility that the Japanese and South Korean economies would experience a contraction.
Bila negara-negara yang kita berdagang ni, dia juga menguncup ekonomi dia. So itu dia pun, kalau dia biasa beli barang kita ekspor kat dia katakan 100%, mungkin dia beli kali ini mungkin 95%. Contoh. Jadi bila keadaan berlaku global economy ini tidak berkembang, maka dia orang ni contraction, maka dia akan keluar, dia akan beli kurang ataupun dia import barang daripada kita kurang. Jadi mungkin kita kena cari pula dengan negara yang masih berkembang. Kita nak jalinkan hubungan dengan mereka untuk lihat apakah benda yang alternatif yang kita boleh dapat untuk mengatasi kekurangan yang berlaku macam contoh Jepun dan Korea.
We're going for a short break. When we return, storm battered New Zealand extends state of emergency. Don't go away. Welcome back to the foreign front. The United States on Monday pledged solidarity with Turkey, saying it will help Turkey for as long as it takes after earthquakes rocked the country 2 weeks ago. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, during a trip to Turkey, said Washington has sent a search and rescue team to the country, along with medical supplies, concrete breaking machinery, and additional funding of $85 million in humanitarian aid that also covers Syria. Blinken also underlined Washington's commitment to delivering F-16 fighter jets to Turkey, as Ankara requested to buy modernized versions of the jets for its aging air force. On Monday, rescue work wound down after the February 6 earthquakes killed more than 46,000 people in southern Turkey and northwest Syria. It was reported that the death toll in Turkey had risen to 41,020, and it was expected to climb, with some 385,000 apartments in the country known to have been destroyed or seriously damaged. The New Zealand government has extended the state of emergency it declared over Cyclone Gabrielle and announced an emergency relief package worth $186 million, as officials warn that the final cost of the deadly storm could rise above $8 billion. Prime Minister Chris Hipkins on Monday announced the extension for a further 7 days in order to help the recovery and relief efforts caused by the cyclone. Hipkins said the storm, which has killed 11 people so far, has caused damage on a scale not seen in the country for at least a generation, warning that the final death toll could rise. In the meantime, Finance Minister Grant Robertson has pledged $187 million of relief and warned that the money pledged so far will only scratch the surface of the final figure needed, which he predicted will cost taxpayers billions of dollars. The minister stated the total cost of storm could be similar to the $8.43 billion it spent rebuilding Christchurch after the devastating 2011 earthquake.
So I'm just going to dig out inside this area.
Now, at least 36 people have died, while hundreds others have been displaced after torrential rains triggered flooding and landslides in the coastal areas of Brazil's southeast, forcing some cities to cancel their annual carnival celebrations. Authorities said currently rescuers are working to look for victims, reconnect isolated communities and clear roads that have trapped an undetermined number of tourists who travelled for the festivities. Weather forecasts, meanwhile, show heavy rains will continue in Sao Paulo's coastal area, challenging civil defence and fire department rescue teams and raising the prospect of a higher death toll. The Sao Paulo state has declared a 180-day state of calamity for 6 cities, and Governor Tarcísio de Freitas will meet federal officials to coordinate the response to the tragedy. Leverkusen came from behind twice before Marcus Invarksen scored a winning penalty for Mainz in their 3-2 victory in the Bundesliga. The visitors took the lead through Anthony Kachi in the 26th minute, but Leverkusen equalised 6 minutes later through a nice passage between Sada Azmoun and Nadim Amiri. Leandro Barreiro gave the visitors the lead once again just before the half with an opportunistic sliding goal. Just before the hour, Leverkusen pummeled the goal until Patrick Schick finally managed to get the ball over the line. The match looked headed towards a draw until Amin Adli's poor challenge on Sylvan Widmer in the penalty area that set Invarksen up for the winner. Still on football, Boca Juniors beat returning hero Martin Palermo and his Platense side 3-1 on Sunday for their second win of the Argentine Primera Division season. Palermo won 2 Copa Libertadores titles during his 2 spells at La Bombonera, and he's still the club's record scorer with 236 goals. However, the 49-year-old's former club weren't in a welcoming mood once the game had kicked off. Jorge Figal opened the scoring in the 9th minute before Nicolas Cerveto equalised 3 minutes later. Miguel Merentiel added Boca's second in the 36th minute before Norberto Briasco added a third 15 minutes from time as Boca moved to 7th in the 28-team standings, 5 points behind leaders Lanús. Platense dropped to 16th, 2 points further back. Three individuals nabbed as police seize heroin worth more than 4 million ringgit. This and more after this short break. Welcome back. The federal court on Monday was told that Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak's former counsel, Datuk Hisham Teh Pohteg, was forced to continue to represent the former Prime Minister in his main SRC International Sdn Bhd appeal, despite the lawyer's request to be discharged. Datuk Seri Najib's lead counsel, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, submitted that Datuk Hisham had informed the court on August 18, 2022, of his wish to discharge himself in the SRC International appeal on grounds that he did not have sufficient time to prepare, but it was dismissed. Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi said following that, Datuk Hisham sought to discharge himself from representing Datuk Seri Najib, and the court also denied the request. The lawyer also said the refusal to postpone the hearing left Datuk Hisham unduly shackled when representing Datuk Seri Najib, as it left him with insufficient time to prepare. He added that Datuk Seri Najib's personal liberty was very much at stake because he had a 12-year imprisonment sentence hanging over his head and an unprecedented colossal fine of 210 million ringgit. Datuk Seri Najib, in his review application, is seeking to overturn the decision made by a 5-member bench of the Federal Court, led by Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, on August 23rd last year, in upholding his conviction and 12-year jail sentence and fine for misappropriation of 42 million ringgit of SRC international funds. The hearing continues on Tuesday. Police have busted a drug distribution syndicate with the seizure of 4.05 million ringgit worth of heroin following the arrest of 3 male suspects in Klang, Selangor and Kupang, Kedah. Acting Selangor Police Chief Dato' S. Sasikala Davies said the suspects, aged between 37 and 53, were arrested in 3 separate raids last Wednesday. The first suspect was detained by a team from the Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department in Klang after a black plastic bag containing 10 pieces of compressed heroin weighing 3.8 kilograms was found in the suspect's car. The interrogation led police to a house in Kapar Klang on the same day, where they arrested another suspect with 113 pieces of compressed heroin weighing 42.94 kilograms seized. In a follow-up operation, a third suspect was nabbed in Kupang, Kedah on February 15th. All suspects tested negative for drugs, and 2 of them had previous criminal records. The detainees were remanded for 7 days from February 16th to facilitate investigation under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Now, one would walk past this construction site in South Korea without giving it much thought, but in it lies an accidental cafe that serves iced Americano next to broken concrete wall. The 3-story building in Seoul, which was originally a private house, recently underwent renovation to become a showroom, but became a popular cafe among young patrons with its unique mood of construction site. Let's take a look at the unique concept as we wrap up Nightline this time around. I'm Muhammed, I'm Hamdan. Thank you for watching and stay safe.